You've been carrying something heavy for longer than you can remember. That weight in your chest that never fully goes away, even on good days. The exhaustion that sleep doesn't fix. The sense that you've been walking through fire for so long, you've forgotten what it feels like to not be burning. And lately something has shifted. Not dramatically, not with trumpets or celebrations, but quietly, almost imperceptibly, you've noticed that the pressure has eased. The test that's been crushing you, the one you couldn't even name properly, is complete. You passed. And now it's time to understand what you were actually being prepared for, because the suffering wasn't random. Every single moment of it had purpose, and that purpose is about to become clear. Let me be very direct with you. You have been tested, not by a cruel God trying to break you, but by a wise God trying to build you. And the test wasn't about whether you're good enough or worthy enough. The test was about capacity. Can you hold what's coming without it destroying you? Can you steward power without it corrupting you? Can you carry authority without it inflating your ego? These questions can't be answered theoretically. They can only be answered through fire. And you've been in the fire. The loneliness you felt, the losses you endured, the doors that closed in your face, the betrayals that gutted you, the financial pressure that never seemed to let up, the health crises that terrified you. None of it was punishment. All of it was preparation. And the fact that you're still here, still standing, still pursuing your calling, even when it would have been easier to quit, that's how you know you passed. You need to understand what passing the test actually means. It doesn't mean you're perfect. It doesn't mean you never doubted or complained or temporarily lost faith. It means that despite the doubt, despite the pain, despite the moments when you wanted to walk away from everything, you didn't. You kept showing up. You kept choosing integrity when shortcuts were available. You kept extending compassion even when you were running on empty.
Attention, you need to prepare now. I put together an exclusive resource for those who feel set apart for something greater, but live surrounded by noise, distractions, and mental overload. This is a 30-day journey that will transform your life, a guided path to armor your mind and prepare for what's coming, with daily practices of focus, boundaries, and discipline. Stop negotiating with the noise. Learn to spot distractions before they control you and strengthen your mind. Also available in an immersive audio version. Over 10,000 readers have already transformed their lives through the 30-day journey. Thousands of people have already started this transformation. People like you, who were tired of living in the fog, ordinary people who decided to stop accepting mental chaos. Take advantage of this limited time offer only this month. Access your link just below in the pinned comment.
You kept seeking truth, even when lies would have been more comfortable. That's what passing looks like. Not flawless performance, but faithful endurance. Before I take you deeper into what was really happening during your test and what comes next now that it's complete, I need you to subscribe to this channel right now. The information coming through here is not random entertainment. It's a map for people who have been through the refining fire and are about to step into their assignment. You're here because you're transitioning. Don't miss the next piece. Hit that like button so this reaches others who are emerging from their own tests and need to know they're not alone. And when you recognize yourself in what I'm about to say, drop the word refined in the comments. That declaration matters. It's you acknowledging that the fire didn't destroy you. It purified you. Let me show you what this looked like for someone who endured a test so long and brutal that by the time it ended, he was a completely different person. David was anointed king as a teenager. The prophet Samuel poured oil on his head in front of his family and declared that he would rule Israel. But then nothing happened. For years, instead of ascending to the throne, David was hunted like an animal by the current king, Saul, who was threatened by David's anointing and tried repeatedly to kill him. David spent years hiding in caves, running for his life, leading a ragtag group of outcasts, living as a fugitive in his own country. He had multiple opportunities to kill Saul and take the throne by force, but he didn't. He waited. He endured. He trusted the process, even when the process looked like failure. And during those years of running, of hiding, of being misunderstood and hunted, something was being built in David that could never have been built on a throne: humility. dependence on God, compassion for the broken and the outcast, strategic thinking, resilience. When he finally became king, he wasn't the arrogant teenager who had been anointed. He was a man who had been forged in the wilderness. The test wasn't about whether he deserved to be king. The test was about making him the kind of king who could be trusted with a kingdom. Here's what you need to grasp about the test you just passed. Every element of it was designed to develop something specific in you that you're going to need for what's coming. The loneliness developed autonomy. You learned to stand alone, to hear God's voice without needing constant external validation. That autonomy is going to be critical when you're in positions where popular opinion pressures you to compromise. The losses develop detachment. You learn that nothing you can lose is more valuable than your integrity. That detachment is going to protect you from being controlled by fear when people threaten to take things away if you don't comply. The betrayals developed discernment. You learn to recognize when someone's words don't match their spirit. That discernment is going to save you from alliances that would have destroyed you. The financial pressure developed faith. You learned that God provides, even when the provision doesn't look the way you expected. That faith is going to carry you through seasons when you're building something that doesn't generate immediate income, but has long-term kingdom impact. Think about the Israelites in the wilderness. They were delivered from Egypt with miracles, plagues, the Red Sea parting, dramatic demonstrations of God's power. And then they were led into a desert for 40 years. 40 years of wandering in a place with no visible resources, completely dependent on daily provision from heaven. This seems cruel if you don't understand what was happening. They had been slaves for 400 years. They knew how to take orders and survive oppression. They didn't know how to be free, self-governing people who could steward a promised land. The wilderness wasn't punishment. It was education. It was the death of the slave mentality and the birth of a kingdom mentality. An entire generation had to die in that wilderness because they couldn't make the shift. But the generation that was born and raised in the wilderness, the one that learned to trust God daily for manna, for water from rocks, for guidance through pillars of cloud and fire, that generation was ready. They crossed the Jordan. They took the land. The test developed capacity. Turn your notifications on right now. Click that bell. The messages coming through this channel over the next few weeks are going to give you the specific instructions for what to do now that the test is complete. How to step into your assignment without repeating the mistakes of those who got the promotion but weren't actually ready for it. You can't afford to miss them. This is critical navigation for a critical transition. Here's how to recognize that you've actually completed a major spiritual test. First, you'll notice a shift in your internal state. The constant anxiety that used to hum in the background is gone, or at least significantly quieter. You're not walking on eggshells anymore. You're not bracing for the next disaster. There's a settledness, a peace that doesn't make logical sense given your external circumstances, which might not have changed that much yet. This peace is the first sign. It means the internal work is complete, even if the external manifestation is still building. Second, you'll notice that things that used to trigger you don't anymore. People who could provoke you into anger or defensiveness with a single comment now just seem irrelevant. Situations that would have sent you spiraling into fear or doubt now feel manageable, even boring. This isn't apathy, it's mastery. You've integrated the lessons. The same stimuli that used to destabilize you no longer have power over you because you're operating from a different foundation now. Third, you'll start seeing doors open that were locked for years. Opportunities that you pursued aggressively with no results will suddenly materialize without you chasing them. People who ignored you will suddenly be reaching out. Resources that were scarce will start to flow. This isn't luck. This is the universe responding to your new frequency. You passed the test. The resistance that was holding you in the training ground has lifted. You're being released into the assignment. Let me give you another example. Hannah was barren in a culture where a woman's value was measured by her ability to produce children. She endured years of mockery from her husband's other wife, who had children, and used them as weapons to torment Hannah. Hannah prayed desperately year after year with no answer. She was so distraught that when the priest saw her praying in the temple, he thought she was drunk. But she didn't give up. She kept praying. She kept showing up. and finally, God opened her womb. She conceived Samuel, who became one of the greatest prophets in Israel's history. But here's what most people miss. The test wasn't about whether Hannah deserved a child. The test was about developing in Hannah the kind of faith and desperation that would produce a prophet. If she had conceived easily early in her marriage, she would have raised Samuel like any other mother raises any other child. But because of the years of barrenness, because of the depth of her yearning, because of the covenant she made with God in her desperation, she didn't raise Samuel as hers. She gave him back to God. She dedicated him to temple service as a young child, releasing the very thing she had ached for, because she understood that he wasn't just her son. He was God's answer to a nation's need. The test developed the capacity to steward a gift that wasn't just for her. And you, whatever you've been through, it wasn't just for you. If you haven't shared this message yet, do it now. Send it to someone who's still in their test, who needs to know that the fire has purpose and that there's an end coming. Sharing isn't about promoting the channel. Sharing is about creating a network of people who understand the language of refinement and can encourage each other through it. Here's what happens now that you've passed. First, you're going to be given access to rooms you weren't allowed in before. Not physical rooms necessarily, though sometimes that too, but levels of influence, levels of authority, levels of revelation that were off limits during the testing phase. You're going to have conversations with people who wouldn't give you the time of day a year ago. You're going to be invited into opportunities that seemed impossible. This isn't because you're suddenly more talented or more deserving. It's because you're now trustworthy. You proved through the test that you won't misuse what you're given. Second, you're going to be assigned people. Individuals who need what you carry, who are looking for someone who's been through the fire and came out intact. They don't need theory from you. They need testimony. They need to see the scars and know that survival is possible. Your assignment isn't to fix them. Your assignment is to be living proof that the refining fire works, that God is faithful, that the test has an end. And your presence in their lives, your willingness to be transparent about what you endured, will give them the courage to stay in their own fire. Third, you're going to be given resources. Not always money, though sometimes that too, but ideas, connections, favor, open doors, supernatural provision. Things that you couldn't access during the testing phase will suddenly be available. This is because God is a strategic God. He doesn't give you the resources when you're still in the character development phase, because resources without character lead to destruction. But now that the character is formed, now that the test is passed, the resources can be trusted to you, too. Let me take you to one more story. Elisha was plowing a field, living an ordinary life, when the prophet Elijah threw his mantle over him. That was the call. That was the anointing. And Elisha's response was to burn his plowing equipment and slaughter his oxen. He cut off all retreat. He committed fully. And then he spent years, possibly a decade or more, serving Elijah, pouring water on his hands, doing menial tasks, watching, learning, waiting for his own ministry to begin. And then at the very end, when Elijah was about to be taken up to heaven, he asked Elisha what he wanted. And Elisha asked for a double portion of Elijah's spirit. This is an audacious request. But Elijah didn't rebuke him. He said, "If you see me when I'm taken, you'll receive it." Elisha saw. The chariots of fire came. Elijah was taken up in a whirlwind, and Elisha picked up the mantle that fell. He went back to the Jordan River, struck the water with the mantle, and it parted, just like it had for Elijah. The testing phase, the years of servanthood, the waiting, all of it was developing in Elisha the capacity to carry a double portion. And he did. He performed twice as many recorded miracles as Elijah. The test wasn't wasted time. The test was necessary preparation for extraordinary assignment. Here's what you need to do practically now that you've passed. First, steward the peace. Don't rush back into chaos. Don't fill the quiet with noise just because the quiet feels unfamiliar after years of turmoil. Sit in the peace. Let it settle into your bones. This is your new normal. Protect it. Guard it. Don't let people or circumstances drag you back into the old anxiety. Second, pay attention to who shows up now. The people entering your life in this season are not random. They're divinely assigned. Some are there to learn from you. Some are there to partner with you. Some are there to resource you. Be discerning, but be open. Don't assume that everyone is a distraction just because you've been burned before. The test taught you discernment. Use it. Third, document the journey. Write down what you learned, what the test revealed about you, about God, about how the kingdom works. This isn't just for you. This is going to be your curriculum when you're assigned to teach others. The people you're being sent to need your specific testimony, your specific scars, your specific lessons. Don't let the details fade. Capture them now while they're fresh. Fourth, start moving on the ideas that are coming to you. In the testing phase, you had ideas but no resources or open doors to execute them. Now the doors are opening. The resources are appearing. Don't sit on the ideas waiting for perfect conditions. Perfect conditions are a myth. Move with what you have. Take the first step. Momentum builds from action, not contemplation. You also need to understand that passing one test doesn't mean you're done being tested. Life is a series of levels. Each level has its own test. But here's the difference. The next tests won't feel as brutal because you've developed capacity. The muscles you built during this test will make the next one more manageable. You're not starting from zero. You're starting from strength. Let me tell you what happens to people who pass the test but don't step into the assignment. They plateau. They spend the rest of their lives talking about what they endured without ever doing what they were prepared to do. They become professional survivors instead of active kingdom builders. The test is not the destination. The test is the qualification. And once you're qualified, you have a responsibility to step into the role you've been prepared for. Don't waste your refinement on nostalgia. Use it for impact. The next video on this channel is going to break down the specific assignments that are common for people who've passed major spiritual tests and how to recognize which one is yours. You cannot miss that. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure your notifications are on. This is a sequence. Every piece builds. You didn't stumble into this message by accident. You're here because the test is complete. The fire did its work. You're not who you were when this started. You've been refined. The impurities are gone. What's left is pure gold. And pure gold is valuable. Pure gold is functional. Pure gold is ready to be formed into something that serves a purpose. That's you. The suffering wasn't meaningless. The loneliness wasn't punishment. The losses weren't cruel. They were preparation. And now, the preparation is complete. What comes next is application. What comes next is impact. What comes next is the reason you were refined in the first place. You passed. Now it's time to step into everything you were prepared for.
Attention, you need to prepare now. I put together an exclusive resource for those who feel set apart for something greater, but live surrounded by noise, distractions, and mental overload. This is a 30-day journey that will transform your life, a guided path to armor your mind and prepare for what's coming, with daily practices of focus, boundaries, and discipline. Stop negotiating with the noise. Learn to spot distractions before they control you and strengthen your mind. Also available in an immersive audio version. Over 10,000 readers have already transformed their lives through the 30-day journey. Thousands of people have already started this transformation. People like you who were tired of living in the fog. Ordinary people who decided to stop accepting mental chaos. Take advantage of this limited time offer only this month. Access your link just below in the pinned comment.